festival, which was water soaked. However, the expectations continue as there are about 6 lakh people who are homeless, who need shelter. There are lakhs of schools and school children who don't have books.
Okay.
There are people who have lost their lone bread-winning shops, who have lost businesses, and nothing has been done till yet.
Alright.
And the only thing which the government of India and the government of Jammu and Kashmir has done is that they have provided 15 to 20 kg of rice to common masses, which is not enough, and people are suffering, and nothing has been done on the ground.
Right. So a lot of expectations here. Another youngster, he is from the working class and has been in Kashmir for a long time. Mudassir, what is your expectation from this visit? Do you think the Prime Minister should come with some sort of a package, something that can at least be some concrete help to people?
Actually, Mr. Narendra Modi has come before this Diwali. He is coming from he is supposed to come from to celebrate the Diwali, but you know, before 15 to 20 days we have a Eid. Nobody is celebrating the Eid. Just he is coming for to celebrate the Eid. I think he has some package for J&K. You know, he has come before 10 to 15 days.
So the point really that you're trying to make is why he didn't choose another date for this visit. Another very important person here, he's from the business community, youngster and entrepreneur, and they have suffered a lot of loss. Hussain, tell us, how is a business community or youngsters who are into the business, how are they affected, and what are their expectations from the Prime Minister's visit?
Well, let me tell you one thing. If he is, there is a visit tomorrow. Mr. Narendra Modi is planning to visit tomorrow Kashmir. He should pay a visit to our, city center, like we call Lal Chowk, because he can see the real picture of devastation which happened during these floods. And moreover, every shop in Lal Chowk, they have suffered a lot, and they have huge credit liabilities to their own banks. And moreover, if we talk about a backbone of our economy, that's tourism industry, which suffered a lot during these floods. I request Mr. Narendra Modi to at least grant LTC packages again for this state of Jammu and Kashmir for another 2 years.
Okay, so very important points being made. One last person here, a media professional, Nasir. What do you think about this entire visit that is been made?
Well, see, people are saying that he should have been here on Eid, but then now that he has made his plans to come here on Diwali, it's a very nice thing of him to come here, because I think he's the first one to do so. And you know what, the thing is, like, he should announce some packages. Like,
so basically packages are the first thing that come to the mind of people here who have suffered a lot, who have gone through a lot, and have a lot of expectations from this high profile visit tomorrow. Rajiv?
Shuja, thanks very much for that. I still don't understand the Eid-Diwali connection. I think it's an important symbolic gesture for the Prime Minister to come on Diwali, and hopefully it will be a way in which he can light up the lives of the people of Kashmir who've suffered that terrible calamity. Appreciate your joining us, Shuja. They're giving us a sense from the ground of that visit. Meanwhile, someone who will simply not change is Pakistan's former military ruler Pervez Musharraf. Musharraf, who's now out of house arrest, spoke to Rahul Kanwal, our managing editor, and Rahul asked him about his continuous anti-Pakistan rant. Musharraf, not surprisingly, is now speaking out against the Indian Prime Minister. Should we be taking him seriously? Listen in to Musharraf.
Prime Minister Modi is your Prime Minister, not Pakistan's Prime Minister. We don't get any dictation from him. We know his credentials. We know his anti-Pakistan credentials. Now, it may be a red line for you that people of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Pakistan or the Foreign Secretary should not meet the APHC. That is not our red line. We do not follow your red line. They must meet. I would say that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, when he went to India, should have met the APHC leaders. Why is that a red line? There is a dispute, internationally recognized, recognized by the United Nations. And we, myself and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Vajpayee, were discussing Kashmir. I used to meet APHC leaders every time. So why is there a change of heart? That itself shows and proves the anti-Pakistan credentials of Prime Minister Modi. Now, if that be so, so certainly it's a confrontationist course. He's taking a confrontationist course with Pakistan. So this red line that he's declared is confrontationist, certainly. It is not peaceful. And when you say that he had invited Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif invited him to Pakistan. He didn't come. So why should Prime Minister
Nawaz Sharif was not Prime Minister.
Keen on running and
Nawaz
going to
Sharif
India?
became Prime Minister long before Narendra Modi got elected to office. He's become Prime Minister of India only in May. Nawaz Sharif was elected before that. You're saying that Modi has confrontationist intent. Now you have no evidence again to back this. Remember, Prime Minister Modi is the one who invited Nawaz Sharif.
All his speeches. I think let's not. If you deny something, if you call it sunlight outside and if you say it's dark outside, what can I say? He's been talking all over the world. We know his speeches. We know what he talks about Pakistan. His latest speeches of such aggressive speeches against Pakistan. I mean that they'll teach us a lesson and all that. These are, what are we talking, Rahul? I mean, let's not live in a fool's paradise. And we are also not asleep here. We are listening to what he says. We are seeing what he is doing.
And you can watch that full interview with General Pervez Musharraf on Center Stage at 10 p.m. tonight. Let's turn to the other big political story that's brewing back home in Maharashtra, where now firm indications are emerging that the Shiv Sena has agreed to most of the BJP conditions and is almost certain now, is almost ready now to join the government. They're no longer insisting on the Deputy Chief Minister or any other prize portfolios. Shiv Sena leaders Anil Desai and Subhash Desai claimed to have met and discussed possible government formation with BJP leaders last night, but any announcement can be expected only after Diwali. The BJP has decided to keep the Shiv Sena waiting. The race for the Chief Minister's post is still boiling down to two, Nitin Gadkari and Devendra Fadnavis, although sources telling us that Mr. Fadnavis is the front runner. Okay, we're being told that the Shiv Sena are completely surrendering, some are saying, to the BJP, but the big question now is over that post of, the big question is at the moment is over the post of Chief Minister. Will it be Devendra Fadnavis or will it be Nitin Gadkari? Because there are increasing number of BJP MLAs from Vidarbha who are openly backing now Nitin Gadkari. Ashish Deshmukh joining me now. BJP MLA joins me. Ashish Deshmukh, we are being told the BJP leadership has decided that Devendra Fadnavis should be the next Chief Minister. Why should you then be openly calling for Nitin Gadkari? Why are you calling for Nitin Gadkari when everyone else is wanting Devendra Fadnavis?
So Rajdev, you are from Maharashtra and you would agree this is a vital state, and a leader who is senior, seasoned and who has the experience should lead the state. And we feel that Nitinji certainly is a senior, a more seasoned and more experienced person who has a track record of development behind him. So when he was a minister in 1995, you have seen him constructing the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, the Bandra-Worli ceiling, and the kind of person he is, certainly he would be able to handle.
Don't you think that you should not be, now you're voicing your feelings openly, you're saying Nitin Gadkari should be the Chief Minister. Devendra Fadnavis is also someone who has been your party president. You seem to be troubled by the fact that your party president, it almost seems as if you believe your party president doesn't have the experience because he's only 44 years old, which is why you're pushing for Nitin Gadkari.
Certainly Devendraji has been leading the state and he has given wonderful result as regards the Lok Sabha elections or even the assembly elections are concerned. But when the kind of state that we are into, the Maharashtra is a vital state, we want to see it as a first number state in the whole of the country, and for that we feel a more experienced person, a more seasoned politician should head the state.
But hold on, Mr. Deshmukh, let's be clear. Mr. Gadkari has gone on record to say he's very happy in Delhi. Now, I want to know whether this is being orchestrated by Mr. Gadkari. He's getting you to speak and say this today on camera, or is this, or am I to understand there is an RSS group in Nagpur who's backing Mr. Gadkari? How is it that suddenly all of you are coming out in the open? Who is behind it when Mr. Gadkari himself is saying, I am not interested in going back to Mumbai?
I would deny the allegation that Gadkari has propelled us to do this, but it is the feeling amongst the legislators, more so ever from the this part of the state, that is Vidarbha, which has been lagging as regards development is concerned. And not only from
Mr. Fadnavis is also from Vidarbha.
From all over the state.
Mr. Fadnavis, Mr. Deshmukh is also from Vidarbha. Why are you choosing Mr. Gadkari?
I certainly told you that the more seasoned and more experienced person who has a track record of development behind him, if he is heading the state, it will take the state to a newer heights. And
are you willing to challenge Narendra Modi and Amit Shah on this? What if Mr. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah believe that Mr. Fadnavis is better? Will you accept the choice?
Then we certainly accept whatever the party decide, whatever Modi ji and Amit Shah decide, that will be the final authority. But as legislators, we have a right to experience, to openly, or you can say view, our view has to be taken into consideration. And the view will be put across in the legislature meet to be scheduled after Diwali.
Okay, so clearly the battle is not over. If you are voicing your views so openly now here on News Today at 9, clearly there remains a group in Maharashtra which is still pushing the case of Nitin Gadkari for Chief Minister. Mr. Amit Deshmukh, Ashish Deshmukh, appreciate your joining us and coming and speaking so openly on this issue. Let's take a break at this point. As always, there's more news. News Today at 9 gives you news from across the country. Next, we'll go to Bangalore. Sexual assault in a Bangalore school. Will the authorities wake up? Simply no end to India's rape shame, and now children clearly not safe, it appears, even in their schools. Barely 3 months after a minor was raped in a Bangalore school, another child was sexually abused in a private school in the same city. The latest incident has once again left Bangaloreans outraged. Ratnika Sharma now reports.
Bangalore on the boil again. A 3-year-old allegedly sexually abused inside a private school. The offender still on the run. The incident coming close on the heels of a similar incident in July this year when a 6-year-old was raped in another Bangalore school. This latest incident coming to light when the child complained to her mother. Her worried parents rushing her to the hospital where sexual assault was confirmed. The shocked parents immediately lodging a police complaint.
Statement of the child and the injury and the circumstances at this point in time rule out any other possibility. It looks more like an assault.
You know, school authorities must be held accountable. We are blaming the teacher who did it, of course. That man must be severely punished. But what about the schools that make money from giving education to these children? We trust them, we leave our children with them and they get away with it.
Bangalore cops are examining the CCTV footage from the school. Both teaching and non-teaching staff has been questioned. But no major leads yet in the case.
This is not the first time something like this has happened in Bangalore city. In fact, this is the third. Twice previously, the predator turned out to be from within the school itself. Despite so many guidelines being issued and the chaos over implementing them, our children are still not safe. With Pratibha Raman, Ratnika Sharma for Headlines Today.
Sexual assault in a Bangalore school. Will the authorities now wake up at least? Joining me now, Pramila Nesargi, women and child rights activist from Bangalore. Appreciate your joining us, Ms. Nesargi. How do you explain it? Something seems to be going terribly wrong. If you can understand if there was the isolated incident, but now in a school, we've had 2 instances in 3 months.
This is the third incident. One incident has not come to light, another school. I am ashamed to say that I am in Bangalore and our children are not safe. Schools are not safe. Parents are worrying. They are crying in They do not know where to go. Look at this institution, Orchid School. The owner is not in Bangalore. He is from Hyderabad. For past 24 hours, he has not come and answered. He is yet to come. And look at the school. The police authority, they are going in a different direction. The investigation is not done in a proper way. They are looking at the the footage. It is not sufficient.
Can I ask you, Ms. Nesargi, let's look at accountability. You know, are you saying that the school authorities are the ones who have to be held accountable above all else, that they cannot be in a situation where private schools simply pass the buck?
No, what has happened is in this particular school, for the past 6 months, there is no principal. Teachers have been living high and dry. They are not taking care. There is no head. The owner is not here. Look at the irony. The building construction is going on within the school premises. Construction workers are there. What are the police doing? They think that the school authority, they see the CC footage. What is the use? They must look into from all angles. The HMT quarters are there. People are coming from there all over. Where are they investigating?
Can I ask you this, Ms. Nesargi? Can I ask you this? I just saw Kiran Majumdar Shaw, who's also a resident of Bangalore, tweet saying that maybe you need only women teachers for children under the age of 10 or 12. Do you believe that that is a solution, that you cannot have, unfortunately, male teachers perhaps?
Undoubtedly.
You're saying in a girls' school only girls
cannot be allowed to teach for the young girls. We do not know the circumstances in which only girls, for this age, especially at that age, only girl teachers, lady teachers must be there. I've been advocating this for a long time.
Right.
It is not known. The male peons are there, the security guards are there, the drivers are there. We do not know from where they come from. There is no due diligence done before they are appointed.
Right.
Even there is no training after the appointment.
Okay. Well, I think that's a start. That's a start.
There are more than 5,000 schools.
If this suggestion can at least take off. The fact you're saying is only women school teachers, and you've got to have an overwhelming presence of women in a girls' school with young minors, is what you're saying, Premila Nesargi. But clearly the authorities and the school authorities and the principal and the owner need to be held accountable. Premila Nesargi, on a day when Bangalore has been shamed again, and a story that we will keep tracking, appreciate.